Thank you everyone for joining us. I'm very excited to be doing the first of the 4 series of the Wellness Diwaniya, where we're looking at how different aspects that we focus on at Lei Wa Lakom affect specifically working women, but women in general. Today I'm happy to be here with Dr. Joanne Hands. We will be discussing the role of financial stress on women's mental health. This applies a lot in general to both men and women, but today I want to focus on how that comes across for women. So I think to start off, can you explain to us what a financial stressor is?
Hi everybody, nice seeing some familiar faces. So first of all, I would like to start by saying that this come together. Finances and mental health is actually a topic that goes hand in hand. If you actually do any research, for example, one of my expertise is couples therapy, and if you do any research about the top causes of marriage difficulties, the number 1 is finances. A lot of people think it's infidelity. No, it's finances. And so the problem is that finances are, or the topic of finance, is tackling upon many different underlying topics: confidence, self-esteem, image, cultural expectations, image, the opinion of others of us. So it goes endless, you know. So when we talk about mental health, even in my part of my intake, one of the topics that we always talk about is how do you see yourself even at financially comfortable? Is it a stress? Is it something that you constantly kind of have it in the back of your head? You know, so it's a topic that they go hand in hand.
But what would be a stressor? Is it I'm living paycheck to paycheck? Is it I don't have an emergency fund? Is it literally I don't know what I'm going to use for
Probably
cash?
all the above.
Okay.
So if we start a little bit, I just want to kind of peel it a bit. If we think of it, you have to think of what first. It's like the chicken or the egg. Who came first, right? They come together. So the finance topic or the stress of it, expectations of having a certain financial level, status, situation may impact your mental health. And at the same time, your mental health may impact your financial status. Because one of the most common, and I see it on daily basis, actually I was telling you today I had 2 cases suffering from this. The most common topic, I would say, or condition that we see is anxiety. And actually, I've been in Kuwait for 18 years now. And I worked in many other places, other countries, and I've never seen the amount, the rates of anxiety that I've seen here in Kuwait.
And anxiety manifests as
many different ways, but anxiety condition, an anxiety disorder. Then we go into the details why. In my opinion, based on research that I will probably say that I've done, is based on we are in a collectivistic culture. We live in a collectivistic society. So the impact of me impact my family. My family impacts me, right? So it's quite challenging when you say, I have to be in a certain way and I have to be a certain person and talk and wear and walk and be, because if not, my sibling will not get married, my father will be a bad father, or you know, so the image is quite important to a point that we stop knowing who we really are. We actually lose that track of who am I? I asked before coming here, I had a session, and I asked him, who are you? How would you define yourself? And he was like, I don't know. So today you surprised me. I didn't know that it was about women, but females in general, we go through probably 10 times more because, and I'm not I'm not really stereotyping here, please, to all the men here, but if we have a CEO of a company, he has these degrees and he's a CEO, he got hired to be the CEO, he has certain expectations, job duties, etc. For a woman to be the CEO, you have to probably work double to prove that you deserve to be the CEO. Okay? So at the same time, you go home and you have to take care of home matters. I have 3 kids. I go home and Mama, sign this paper. Mama, pay for this in school, whatever. Okay, my husband just come from work. Hi guys, where's my food? You know? So there's certain expectations that as a woman, you are, it's embedded, right? So when it comes to the topic of finances is, wait a second, I want to be recognized as somehow equal. But at the same time, we need to understand that we're not equal. That we have other things, I would say, pros and cons, you know, some strengths and some weaknesses. I would not change the tire of my car. I'm sorry. And I consider myself a very independent, liberal woman. No, I would not change the tire of my car. Okay.
So how does the role of, again, here in I'm assuming all around the world, that men have specific kind of roles, gender roles, and then women have others which not necessarily are financial or concerned about finances?
How? Like,
so why would I as a woman have anxiety about it if it's not my job to provide?
Because who said it's not your job to provide?
The roles we play.
But at the same time, and I am sure probably 90% of the women are here, they don't want to be seen that way. I went to school, I have a master's degree, I have a PhD, I have a bachelor's degree, I got the certification. I want to be seen as a what?
Independent.
As an independent, strong woman, right? So, talk the talk and walk the walk. Right?
But if you look at what we're told, it's the husband's role to take care of you. It's the father's role.
So, but at the same time, you know, the expectation, we have many different things, because there's one that says, well, no, I work, I got this degree, you're not gonna tell me how to spend my money, or I'm not gonna come and take all your money, because that will make me dependent on you, right? So if I have to ask my husband every day, can I have 10 KD to go to the Jamia? Can I have 5 KD to put gasoline in the car? Can I have the self-esteem of the person starts being tackled here. Wait a second, so then why did I go to college? Then why do I have this job, right? Then at the same time, there is that expectation of he needs to be the one providing for me. So you don't know how many issues I have at work that says, he needs to take me to the Maldives. You know, it's been 4 months and we haven't traveled. And the man is like, I can barely make it. Actually, it was May 1st, okay? And this client comes and says to me, Joanne, today's session, I just want to talk about finances. And I said, okay, what's going on? And he said, today's May 1st, my wife gets paid on the 25th of the month. And today she sent me a link to pay for something. I don't feel that this is right. In 5 days, she already spent all her money. So I'm spending my money and us, and the kids, and the house, and the expenses, and the helpers, and her money is for her. So that is causing a big problem in the marriage. She's like, well, this is your role. You're supposed to be the provider. You know, my father never asked my mother for a KD or anything. This is what I'm expecting from you. So now we have to be able to understand that we're not in the same years that we used to be, you know. Maybe my parents were wealthy and they had different investments. That doesn't mean that I have my parents' money, you know.
So the social norms are changing. We're evolving from paternalistic kind of household to a more equal household. But I feel like there's still that unconscious belief that I don't really have to take care of everything. There's always something I can fall on, whether it's husband, parents, relatives who will eventually come and save me, quote unquote. So is that hindering, let's say, the request for becoming more financially literate? It's okay, I don't need to. If anything happens, there's someone who can take care of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this, you know, when we were talking about this topic and why this topic, the number one thing is we need more of these talks. To me, education is everything. So we need to start being a little more educated. And one of the topics of education is financial literacy. I mean, we need to really be able to learn about financial planning. If you make 20 KD a month and you spend 19, you will have to rely on a credit card. You will have to rely eventually on a loan. You have this amazing car, but the entire car was on a loan. So why?
Let me try to paint a cycle for you. I need the car to maintain a specific status. If I start to become more financially savvy, I'm looked at as stingy or poor, which will affect my self-esteem, which will make me depressed. But then if I spend and I don't have the money, I'm going to be depressed. Also. So can you see how I would rather be rich and depressed or look rich and depressed rather than...
But this is what we have. We have a bubble here, you know, and unfortunately that bubble is going to be pinched at some point. Okay, so what we need to be is, if you want to be savvy about it, if you want to be really smart about it, you need to make a plan. You want to look rich? I want to have my comfortable life, my comfortable house, my trips. Then I need to work. I need to make sure that I have a percentage of my income invested and make it grow. You know, a lot of the people here, they work with no judgment, but they work until 2, 3 o'clock, and then they go home, take a nap, go to tea parties, go to the mall, go to Wellness Diwaniya. I don't know what it is to be like that. I really, maybe for a week, I wish I can do that. After that, I will go back to... No, then if you have your job, either government job or private job that finish at 3, what can you do with yourself after? So to me, this topic relies a lot on, and that's why I said who you are, how you see yourself, and the confidence level that you have, the opinion that you have of yourself. Who are you? And when you say, I'm capable of more, why am I shutting myself here? Why am I limiting myself just to this? You know, maybe I don't have to be killing myself until 10 o'clock and have 3 jobs. Perfect, because you have a comfortable life. But your goals have to be aligned with your performance, your behavior. You know, you want to have this standard of life, but you want to work only 2 days. You want to be the owner, but you're going to hire a manager and take care of the business. It has to be aligned. You know, you wanna have this standard of life. You wanna have this car. You wanna look, like you said, you wanna look rich. What are you doing to have that? You know.
So, can I say that this is only affecting a specific demographic? Is it lower income only?
No, actually, no, not at all. I would say even lower and also the high. You know, probably even more. Because there's again that expectation of maintaining certain standards, you know. So if I'm already here and I have this whatever house or this car, how can I ever lower my standards to a lower car? Oh my God, that's when people, you know, I have a client that she said she has a lot of things that she bought during those depression spurts that she had, and she just went shopping. And now she actually wants to sell it. She said, I don't use it, I don't need it, and I am in really bad financial situation. I want to sell it. I can't sell it. Because if I sell those things, people will start knowing that I'm in a bad financial situation. So I'd rather be broke and in a jam and have, you know, no way of paying my bills than to look like I am in a bad financial or in a tough financial situation, you know? So again, this affect many different people. I would say yes, definitely mental health because of finances can probably be affected, mostly the lower income group. but it depends on the context you see it. Okay, so for example, in Kuwait, no, in Kuwait I will say even the upper ones, because of that standards and expectations that they have to maintain. This is what we call the vicious cycle. It really gets us involved in a jam if you don't stop it. I know people that they take loans to put in the Bitcoin and they lost all their money. So now they lost this, they lost that, they don't know. So you need to be smart, you need to be educated, you need to understand that you have to have a safety cushion. There's nothing wrong with investing and wanting to have more, but you have to have a safety. So all of this goes with also work pressure, and I remember him saying, I did all of this for my wife. I did all of this so my wife can continue the status that she wants and she has.
Looking at, so I'm going to use the example of Kuwait. You're talking about a wealthy country, and most probably a lot of people would not recognize that they have symptoms of financial stress. So if we're going to look at it from the mild to the more extreme, what if I would sit with myself and be like, is this, am I under financial stress? Maybe to myself, I'm not, but then it is actually.
Very good question. And I think these are probably what I would just call the early flags, the warning flags that you need to pay attention to. You need to start looking at how much of my day is spent in me thinking about anything related to money, finances. Either how much did I spend, should I spend it, how much I have, so how much time did I spend of my day about this topic, number one. Number two is, I would not say that, but is am I actually spending what I have because I want it, I need it? I always say, go to the store, you like it, you want it, it's affordable. Walk to another store and think, do I really need it? And then come back and get it. But don't be impulsive. So we need to be able to look at our impulsivity. The impulsive behavior that the person has is always a sign of numbing. Always. And by the way, I'm talking in general mental health. So we talk about substance abuse, we talk about gambling, we talk about impulsive shopping, investing in the stock market, anything impulsively.
Would you put shopping in the same category as gambling and alcoholism?
Yep. Okay. Unfortunately, yes. And that's how bad it is. It is an addiction. And when we call it addiction, I used to work in an inpatient institution. It was a 1-year inpatient institution for substance abuses. And we had people with all kinds of addictions. By the way, another that is not necessarily considered an addiction, but is a very much problem in mental health, is eating disorders. And you will think of it, what eating disorders has to do with this, eating disorders is all about control. And when I cannot control certain things, at least I can control what goes in and out of my body, right? And unfortunately, and I adore, my husband is Kuwaiti, I adore the culture, okay? So please don't think that I'm like, but we're talking about Kuwait in particular, okay? Here we numb our emotions with food, and we numb our emotions with shopping because we are afraid of facing them, afraid of saying, I am struggling with this. I really cannot go. You guys go ahead, enjoy it. I cannot go today. Or I cannot go every Thursday. I have this girl that she has a group of friends that they go every Thursday to a restaurant. It's the girls' night out, and they go every Thursday to restaurants. And she's like, Joanne is really starting to pay a toll on me. They are choosing restaurants that sometimes I cannot afford. And it puts a burden. So I have to ask my parents, I have to ask people around to lend me some money to be able to go. And I'm like, what? Why? What is the problem with you saying, sorry girls, but today I cannot join you? Number one, they might stop inviting me. you know, also she was becoming vegan. This is another topic. And she's like, they will think that I'm a drama queen, that I just think that I'm better than them. They will stop inviting me. So it's that fear of missing out. It's again, it's all that pressure. But I need to be sincere with myself. What is this causing in me? Who is this affecting? When it's starting to affect you, the only one that knows it's affecting you is you. So you need to stand up and do something about it. And that's self-care. That's actually confidence, you know. I do, and I know familiar faces, they probably know me as a therapist. And I think I would probably say I'm a bit different than many other therapists. My therapy work is based on confidence, purely. You come with an addiction, you come with an eating disorder, you come with depression, you come with anxiety, you come with a marriage problem. Let's work on confidence first. Because when your confidence is strong, you can go get it. You can get out of this. When you believe in yourself, you believe in what I can do. No one has to come and tell me. I don't feel intimidated by you pushing me, what we call peer pressure, right? I can simply say, yeah, I went to a gathering with some friends, and I unfortunately don't get to go every week. And so one day I was there, and there were two other ladies not there. And one said, where is Sarah? Have you heard of her? And no, I think she's having some marriage problems. You know, I heard blah, blah, blah. And I looked at them, I was like, guys, please, 1 second. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's talk about us. Let's catch up with what the people that are here, you know, because, and I got home and I told my husband, I don't think I'm going to be invited anymore, you know? And surprisingly, I had a message that afternoon saying, thank you, it was lovely seeing you. And thank you for stopping the conversation about Sarah, because it was quite uncomfortable. They were starting to speculate about her, you know? So the thing is, your confidence has to be strong to be able to say, I don't like this. Please, let's stop it, you know? And so to me, confidence is everything. And when you feel that I'm being hooked by a topic, there's any topic that is having an external force in me, is changing me, is impacting me, is affecting my dynamics, is affecting my way of communicating with others, my relationships, I need to stand up and do something about it.
It's interesting you bring the peer pressure, which is one of the main reasons, but also I want to talk about beliefs. And I'm going to butcher translating this, but I'm sure you've heard about spend what you have tomorrow and you'll get what's unknown in the future.
Yeah, of course.
And other
live today.
Live
tomorrow
today.
We'll see.
Exactly. And power of
the here and now.
The here and now, and affirmations, and you know, contact the universe.
But the problem is, it's just like everything in life. We take things out of context. I am a therapist that said, live in the here and now, but you need to feel safe. You know that every step you're making it in a solid ground, not on quicksand. So how can I say, you know what, I have 20 KD in my wallet. You know what, let me just have it. Tomorrow we'll see what I can do. And then my kids don't have food tomorrow. I'm like, oh, you know, what can I do about it? So I always say, and we go back to that educational component, educate yourself. You know, make sure they're financial advisors. There's professional, you know, therapists that can help you with that. On endless sessions, I have sat down with my clients and say, take a piece of paper. Tell me how much money you have. What's the income from anywhere? From Damamala, from this, from mom, from that, from this, from everywhere. What's your income? And what's your outlet? What's your expenses? What's your output? Okay? So steady output, steady expenses like my rent, my house, my school, my whatever, okay? And then keep a percentage of it for what we call surprises, entertainment, birthdays, whatever it is, and a percentage of it for saving, even if it is 5-10 KD. Because today's 10 KD, tomorrow will be 100, you know? So we have to be able to understand that, yes, I want to live my life today, but I cannot have a good, healthy tomorrow if I'm irresponsible about it, you know? So I think
How soon should I talk to my kids about it?
That's a very good question. and you guys are gonna think that I'm kind of showing off here right now, but I have 3 sons, 17, 14, and 8. My 8-year-old has a business. Follow him. Fahad Stan. He's now famous, okay? He's famous. He stands every Friday outside the house, Khaldia Street, Khaldia Main Road. And he just came to me one day. He says, Mama, I want to make money. So I said, what do you want to buy that I probably won't buy for you, right? He's like, no, for my future. So I said, really? Okay, so I stopped it right there and I said, all right, how about I give you 1 KD for every 20 out of 20 you get in school? And he looked at me like, you don't get it. He said, no, that's my studies. I have to study. I want to make something. I want to like sell something and have something that I can earn money. So I said, okay, what can you do? He said, well, I love making cookies. There you go, sell the cookies. So he's selling now cookies, lemonade, and brownies. And during the winter, he was selling hot chocolate. The first day, he was like, this is not a good idea. No one is gonna buy from me. And I said, honey, it is an amazing idea just because you tried it. Just because you tried it, okay? And we'll see. People buy it, people don't buy it, you learn from it, but it's an experience. When he had cars line up, beeping for him, he's like, this is booming, you know? And so there are days that he sells out, completely sold out. There are days that he still has like 10 cookies or 10 brownies there, and he's upset. And so the day that he's upset, I'm like, what did you learn about today? Did you make the same amount? So there's always a education behind. One day you're good, one day you didn't do well, and that's okay. Can you tell why? What is it today? What is the traffic, the weather? Maybe there were a lot of activities happening and that's why people didn't come. Maybe the advertisement was not strong. So education to an 8-year-old to that level, you know? And it's funny because 2 years ago, my sister-in-law gave him, it's like an ATM machine that is a toy. It's from Kenso or something like that, Kensi. And so he's like, and this is my cashier. And so he put it there. Well, lucky enough, one day, an influencer passed by. He has like 70,000 followers. He saw him, he reversed, he put the window down and said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm selling lemonades and cookies. Really? He stepped out of the car, he videoed him, and it was booming, you know? So he was like, and then after they contact me saying, I'm the owner of the company of that ATM machine. Do you mind if we interview your son? Because we want to teach kids the concept of saving, which is very, very weak in Kuwait. And I said, please, this is what I'm trying to educate my kids on, you know? And so what is the age? Is a long answer, but 2, 3 years old. We have to stop the sense of entitlement, please. That sense of entitlement that we grow up with. You know, I tell my husband, he walks into the airport and he's just transformed. And I'm like, what's up with the Kuwaiti passport? That you guys feel that sense of entitlement. You know, he laughed and I'm like, yeah, really. It's like, I deserve it, I can afford it, I own it, I have it, and wait, no, what are you doing to earn it, you know? My 17-year-old wants a jet ski. Wait a second, what are you gonna do for that? You know, like, why do you think you deserve a jet ski? Just because, you know? So the concept, now we won't sit down with finance books and sit on the table because we don't wanna make it boring or stressful. A lot of therapists will tell you the concept of money can stress kids out, okay? Can actually cause a lot of stress. But it's how you approach it. It's how you introduce it. If you introduce it of like, how much money you have, how much money you made, how much money you save, what are you gonna do with it, blah, 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 the ideas, you know? But my nephew gets the idea, where are we going? Guys, let's go. What? My kids get the idea, Mama, put it in my bank. Just like that. And there's no stress and they're not deprived or traumatized, I promise, you know? So it's just that concept of wait a second, if I present it as a stressful situation, if my kids hear me talking to my husband about how we're going to do with this and how we're going to do that and how we're going to pay for this and you can't take me here and I want this but I can't afford it, I want this car but I want to live in this house, that will be stressful. And that's the typical concept of, if you talk about money in front of kids, it will be stressful for them. But that, not the educational conversation that should come, that
my concern is I don't want them to be obsessed with
good.
money.
So that's what would I call it, therapeutically speaking, psychologically speaking? That's a fear. What happens with fears? Fears always prevent us, stop us. So because I'm afraid of them becoming obsessed with money, what do? Don't talk about money, right? No, that's your confidence. Your confidence is, listen, I know that they're not going to be obsessed because I'm not obsessed. Am I talking to them every single day about how much they spend and how did you put them, where did you do and what did you buy? And then they will be concerned and obsessed. But when it is a topic that we talk about it every now and then in the dining table, why would they be obsessed over that? Now, if you keep telling them, you can't have it, you can't have it, you have to earn it, you have to earn it, then they will be obsessed and they will go somewhere else. I have people that said, I went to my older brother, asking for money because I prefer to go to my older brother than to go to strangers. So there is that component of, I need it and I'm going to get it. So if you and my parents don't give it to me, I'm going to go somewhere else. That's an obsession. Sometimes that's where it turns into, addictions, and it turns into, I'm going to start selling this to make money so I can go get what I want, So we have to be able to understand where this concept is coming from. Am I depriving my kids from something? Am I making the topic the center of the dining table, is the main. And again, there's an amazing video on YouTube. It's an old video. It's called Children See, Children Do. They're a sponge. So whatever mom and dad are talking, or whatever mom is talking about. Last week, my son invited a kid to a home for a play date, and I put them to paint, and I put them in the garden, and I got this kind of sprayer that is a spray paint. It was all water-based, all washable. The friend was from top to bottom. He had a white t-shirt with a name here, blue t-shirt. And I was like, oh my God, your mom is gonna kill me. And you know what he said? And this is brand new. She just bought it yesterday. She traveled it. I was like, oh my God. So now the stress of the boy, because this is a brand new outfit. And so then I said, Habibi, did you have fun? Your mom will not be upset. I'm going to talk to her about it and you're fine as long as you have fun. So we need to be able to see where those stressors are coming from. What is the message that we're sending our kids? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. If you're afraid, you will be limited. You will restrain yourself from certain uncomfortable topics. Like I don't want to talk to my kids about sexual things, about drugs. No, because if I talk about it, it might open their eyes. If you don't talk about it, someone will. The TV will, and so then you're not having that control over how he thinks or she thinks, what is in her mind or his mind. I'd rather me hear it directly from me, not from Google,
So what would be the long-term effects on a person if they are constantly stressing about?
Yeah, very good. That's when they come to see us.
Yes.
I mean, hopefully. The long-term consequence of this can be very, very detrimental. That can be very damaging to a point that sometimes it's really hard to recover from it. We have something that is called major depression, okay? Not just the absence of joy, which could be a sadness. Someone can be sad every now and then. We all, sadness is a basic emotion of a human being. But when you go into a clinical depression state, it's quite difficult. It can be quite challenging. You need probably medication, so the recovery may take a little bit longer. One of the consequences, like I said, could be severe anxiety, could be complex trauma, okay? Keep in mind that a lot of people start when things, and we talk about finances, so just this topic starts growing like a snowball effect. I have to get into a place to cover this one and into another one to cover this one. And so that it becomes a snowball effect. In order, like I said, I get a loan to be able to invest or to pay this debt, and then I cannot pay the loan. I have a client this morning who said, I think at any time I'm gonna go to jail because I just cannot pay the things that I need to pay, including the loan. And so the bank already blocked all my things. They're freezing all my assets, all my, So at any point, legally, it's gonna be a problem now. So that creates a very pessimistic views of things, of the world, of life, of themselves, I don't want to go that way, but the worst that could happen, it could even lead on suicide. On many cases we've heard that the person just did that because they couldn't afford, they couldn't pay, they couldn't face their responsibilities. So many different things. Again, one of it is substance abuses. You can fall into substance abuse to numb. We have a lot of drugs and alcohol, and that numbs the person, and that creates an additional problem. We have isolation. There are 4 basic components that every human being should take consideration of this. And those are components, categories of a human being. I would say number 1, mental. The mental category, mental component. Number 2, emotional. Number 3, physical. And number 4, social. So when we start isolating ourselves, because that's a very typical default consequence of any financial problem. We're talking about finances today, right? So any financial topic will probably lead into isolation for many reasons. Embarrassment, I can't afford it, can't keep up with the standards, can't let them see me this way. I am in such a really bad state that I cannot be a good companion to anyone. I go and I'm pessimistic or negative about many things. So, So those 4 components are quite important, and people underestimate the social one. I don't socialize for the sake of I need to socialize, fit in, FOMO, again, the fear of missing out. I socialize for my own mental health. If there's 2 weeks that I haven't seen my friends, hey girl, when are we playing cards? Because I need it for my mental health. I need to have dialogues, healthy dialogues, as opposed to monologues, and that also creates very good, healthy dynamics. If you're married, with your spouse, coming back fresh, as opposed to like, this is broken, we haven't paid this, we need to pay this, so it's a stress. It's a lot of stress. So complex PTSD can be another consequence of that if there's a lot of stress, and complex is just the prolonged stress.
I'd love to get our guests' questions in, but I just wanted to say anxiety could also be OCD. That's one.
Okay, so good question. Anxiety to me, and I will describe it as Joanne would describe it. Anxiety to me is like, imagine the big tree, okay? It's that big umbrella. And under anxiety conditions or anxiety disorders, we have leaves, okay? One of it is phobias. One of it is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. One of it is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Another one, social anxiety. And so we have what we call branches of it, but the diagnosis is anxiety disorder with, so if as a therapist or as a psychiatrist will diagnose it as the presenting patient is facing anxiety disorder with phobias, anxiety disorder with OCD, you know, or like, so is the major umbrella. Now the DSM has, the diagnostic manual has divided more into like, this is a diagnosis by itself, you know, you have OCD, you have PTSD, but it is all under the umbrella of anxiety.
Because I don't think someone who has OCD will think this is financial. Like, no, I probably have a problem with germs or something like that, but I would not associate it with
So what
the
is
anxiety.
OCD? So OCD, like I said, is obsessive compulsive disorder. The moment you obsess over a topic and that topic consumes your mental space. So I can be obsessed about germs, I can be obsessed about cleaning or organizing, but I can also be obsessed about shopping, okay? I can be obsessed about, actually I have a client that she has to work out 3 hours a day. If she doesn't work out 3 hours a day, there's no way she can sleep, she can function, she can concentrate. You're speaking to her and she's out. She's just thinking, how am I going to do? I'm gonna go up the stairs. During the lockdown, during COVID, you have no idea how much she was suffering. So you would think, if you see her, mashallah, you're so healthy, amazing. I wish I can be like you, that I have to exercise three hours a day. It is an obsession because it's preventing her from finding that mental freedom. I cannot concentrate in a topic if I didn't do my 3 hours of exercising. So OCD is that obsession, is that mental obsession and acting on it, the compulsive of that. So if I just think about it, but I don't do much, that can be an obsession, but not necessarily OCD. But when I obsess and act on it, that turns into OCD.
Yeah, interesting. Well, Dr. Joanne, thank you so much. So as the title says, this is a Wellness Diwaniya. So you are please asked to stick around. Let's have a chat. Let's meet each other before you run off and do other things. So thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was good. Yeah, relax, enjoy. Have those interactions, you know, like we're always in a hurry. Really enjoy the interactions. I hope it was helpful.